Fala pessoal, eu sou o Rafael, professor, criador aqui da Rafi Education Center. Já para nós mais um vídeo, número 11 hoje. Lembrando que a gente vai fazer aqui uma conversação em inglês, buscando desenvolver técnicas, vocabulário, principalmente o nosso listening também no inglês. Esse vídeo acaba sendo para quem está um pouco mais avançado no inglês, embora iniciantes também sejam muito bem-vindos a assistir e já começar a praticar, né, treinar e desenvolver o seu inglês, ok? So let's get started. Guys, today I want to talk to you about our revolutions, okay? Human revolutions. In human history, throughout é durante todo, né? Durante todo o período de alguma coisa, durante todo um livro, durante todo um dia. So throughout. Throughout human history, we've had some revolutions that really revolutionized the way humans developed and grew up around the world. We're going to talk about 5 of them specifically. We're going to start with the agricultural revolution, then we're going to go to writing, when we started writing things down. Then we're going to go to the printing press, when we started basically making pamphlets and books, just putting writing like on a mass production, large scale kind of thing. Then we're going to go to the Industrial Revolution more recently, and now we're going to go to the internet, okay? We are not going to talk about AI, not yet, artificial intelligence. We're going to probably have a separate class just for that, and also who the hell knows what's going to happen with AI? It's so new, so recent, and so revolutionary, so fast. But we will talk about these other ones. So what I did in class was I organized them on a timeline for all my students, and we started talking about the agricultural revolution. I'm going to read the text for you guys, just for you guys to see if you understand the listening of this text, okay? So the agricultural revolution happened when people switched from hunting and gathering to farming. They developed plantations and domesticated animals. The domestication of animals was a big thing. Towns and the idea of home were formed. With extra people, with extra food, people had time and energy to do jobs and create new things. So with this surplus is like extra, everything you have that is more than you need, and you can store it away. Né? Você pode armazenar, you can store it away. So the word is surplus. S-U-R-P-L-U-S, né? S-U-R-P-L-U-S, surplus. Whenever you have surplus, now you have you can afford the luxury of assigning people to do other kinds of stuff. And that's what happened with writing. And also, writing developed, I didn't put that in the class, eu não coloquei na aula, I didn't put that in the class. Negativa no passado, pessoal, uma coisa legal de praticar, hein? I didn't put that in the class, in the lesson, but the writing started in a way for government to control how much wheat or how much yield we were getting from plantations, from crops, das plantações, né? That's how it started. So it was not very exciting, not about telling stories, not about writing poems or technical things. No, it was just about counting how much people were paying, producing, a relationship between government and the normal people. At least that's what I heard. Pelo menos é o que eu ouvi. At least that's what I heard. So that's how we started. Agricultural revolution, when everything starts, this modern society only possible because of agricultural revolution, and then you can see that every single one of them, the other ones, just follow, which is very cool. So then let's go to the next one, that is the writing revolution. I would also like to read this text for you guys so we can better understand it. So the writing revolution happened when humans learned to write. They made symbols to represent words and ideas around more than 6,000 years ago. This changed how they communicated. This helped pass knowledge, stories, and ideas to others and made information last longer. So that was extremely revolutionary because everything we learned now we could just preserve for ancient history. And that didn't happen before. Before we relied on oral traditions. Look at this. We relied on. Relied, depender de alguma coisa, confiar ou contar com alguma coisa para fazer algo, com alguém também, né? To rely, por exemplo, for example, I rely on my wife to help me with my kids. Né? Então eu dependo da minha esposa, eu conto com ela, eu confio nela, né? Essa combinação dessas três coisas, talvez, né? Eu conto com ela. I rely on my wife to help me take care of my kids, né? Eu conto com ela, dependo dela para me ajudar. So humans relied on oral traditions, and now we could write things down and document them. So that was great to pass knowledge from one generation to the next, from one to the next, from one to the next. Essa combinação de palavras também é bem legal. From one to the next. Pode usar em vários contextos, né? We can use in many contexts. So then, as I said, we started by counting grains or groups of grains. I'm not sure exactly. But not very exciting creation of writing, but then we certainly evolved, and nowadays we have this amazing system of language and translation, simultaneous translation between different languages with different symbols and different writing systems, and it's so amazing to see all these things play out in the world today. Play out é acontecer, né? Elas se desenvolverem, né? These things play out in many different ways. And I asked my students in class, like, how do you use writing nowadays? Like writing on paper, that's what I meant, just for kicks, just for fun. For kicks, it's just for fun. And then not many people use writing nowadays, but a lot of us, at least my students, told me that they used to take notes, you know, just to take random notes, little notes, maybe during meetings, or maybe some post-its as a reminder for something. And that's what I do too. What I do is, when I'm brainstorming, drafting é rascunhando, fazendo rascunho, né? Drafting, brainstorming, just organizing ideas in the first stages of these ideas, né? Os estágios finais, os primeiros passos, né? The first steps, the first stages of developing an idea, a lesson. Normally, I use that. I use on paper. I take notes on paper. That's the only situation that I use it. I got kids, so on Christmas we also write letters to Santa, Santa Claus, and I think that's pretty much it. We don't use that anymore nowadays. And then we move from writing revolution to the printing press. Very connected, both of them. So the printing press, we call here a imprensa, right? So basically it's this idea, this machine where we can print many pieces of many copies of one message fast, okay? So we could just distribute information better. And that is amazing because now it's not so expensive, because first, you relied on people, né? Você dependia ou contava com pessoas, né? You needed people. You relied on people to write things. We call them scribes. Scribes were people whose jobs, né? As pessoas cujo trabalho. Bem legal essa palavra, whose. W-H-O-S-E. W-H-O-S-E. People whose jobs was just to write things on paper, like many copies of something. Well, that was extremely expensive, and these people were highly qualified people. Highly é altamente, né? Altamente qualificadas. Olha que legal. Highly qualified people. Highly trained, né? Altamente treinadas, né? Highly expensive. No, let's stop there. So highly qualified people where they needed to write things exactly as they were on paper. So you needed also to trust these people. So these people were very important inside a society, a very ancient society, traditional, where these people had a very important job. Now what we did was we would organize different blocks of letters, like small little letters, in a certain order to create words and sentences and eventually like a page. And then we would just print, just press the paper against this. I think it was made, I believe it was made of iron, which is ferro, né? Iron. Was made of iron, all these blocks of letters, and then we put some kind of ink, né? Algum tipo de tinta, né? Some kind of ink. And then we just press the paper against it. And then we would have that printing press. And then we could make more books, distribute information. was very good for education, for the spread of information, né, para espalhar a informação. So the printing press was an amazing revolution, really, for education, for the masses. So books, before that, they were extremely expensive. They continue to be after the printing press, still very expensive, but a lot less. So a lot more people had access to books, definitely, because you relied on a machine. So we could already see many examples, starting on the agricultural revolution. When you replace people with machines, things get cheaper, and that's what happened right there on the printing press as well, né? As well é outro jeito de falar também, né? Um pouco legal de pegar. A gente tem o to com dois os, tem o also, e tem também o as well, por exemplo, para a gente usar para falar também. So that happened with the printing press as well. Moving on, I asked people if they, like nowadays we have the many ways to read information online on computers, and also books. We can also read them on e-readers, electronic readers, or a Kindle from Amazon, the most popular one, or an iPad, a tablet, cell phone, whatever. So I asked people if they still use printed material, and in what situations we see printed material, so information on paper. And then we, in classes, we remembered about flyers, normally propaganda, like ads, like people selling things, houses, apartments, new condominiums, or some kind of promotion or sale that some business is doing. But also books. Still, a lot of people like the printed book, the physical book, to touch the thing, turn the pages, the smell of the book, and also, like me, I don't know if you guys can see it over here, I got my shelf, my shelves, plural, shelf, é uma prateleira, shelves, com V-E-S no final, plural, my shelves with my books. It ends up being a decoration, né? Acaba sendo uma decoração. It ends up being a decoration, the book. So a lot of people still buy printed books. I am one of them, although I still have my Kindle, and I use that as a complementary tool to read, which is great. I recommend, we can talk more about it another time, but I definitely recommend, even if you love printed books, I recommend you also have a Kindle to complement your reading experience, okay? Then we went to the Industrial Revolution, the shitty one, the one that made everybody move from the farms to the cities. That's the creation of big cities. The population of the world starts moving from rural, que é rural, né? Rural, uma palavra que a gente é difícil de falar, né? Rural population to an urban population. People start being concentrated in cities around the factories, and the Industrial Revolution happens. And I will read this text for you too. I didn't read the last one, the previous one, o anterior, the previous one. I'll read this one. So I'm sorry, I have trouble reading. The Industrial Revolution was a big change when machines started doing work for people. So factories made things quickly. Okay? This changed how people made stuff. Stuff é uma palavra legal, é uma alternativa para things, né? Para coisas, né? Então, de novo, this changed how people made stuff, where they lived and how they worked. Life was different with new jobs and cities. Okay, so now we had cities to pollute. Great, awesome. Just as a reminder, like the beginning, Industrial Revolution was terrible. Like the jobs for the people was terrible. They worked very long hours, no safety, a lot of accidents, a lot of people died, lost their hands, legs, eyes, vision, whatever. It was terrible. Like the life we have today, it's so soft. Like Nutella, as we say in Brazil. It's so easy. And we still complain, and there's still a lot to be done. I know, né? A gente ainda reclama. Complain é um ótimo verbo, complain. We still complain. There is a lot to be done. Ainda há muito a ser feito. We know, and we want to always keep moving forward, né? Sempre manter, seguindo em frente, always progressing, always improving, melhorando, improving. But it was really terrible in the past, okay, like really terrible. So that was Industrial Revolution that we talked about, and then we moved to the internet to finish the revolutions of our times. So let me read the last one because it's it's closer to us. We're really using it today. Let's go. So the internet revolution was when computers were connected, got connected worldwide. People could talk, share, and learn from far away. This changed how we get information. We live in the era of information. This changed how we get information, talk to friends, and do business. This made the world feel a lot smaller. So definitely we live in a globalized world. Globalization was extremely catalyzed by the internet. Definitely, we are just connected with all the world all the time, which I think that's not one of the things that is not healthy about the world today. I mean, we are connected to everyone, absolutely everyone, and we don't talk to everyone, I know, but in theory you are connected to every human being, or virtually every human being, ser humano, human being, to every human being on earth. So that's 8 billion people today in 2025, which is insane, and it's gotta be a little unhealthy. And it definitely, for me, breaks a little of that feeling that I had when I was in a friend's house, at my home, traveled to a place. I was disconnected from the rest of the world. I didn't think about it because I didn't have anything to compare with, but we were disconnected from the rest of the world. So we were definitely just naturally more present in that moment and in that place because there was no other way for us to connect to any other place, any other time, any other person that is not there in that place with us. There was no way we could do it. So that was definitely, that's one of those like romantic ideas about the past, nostalgic a little. Don't get me wrong, I don't buy that. I don't buy it. Tipo, não acredito, eu não compro essa ideia. I don't buy that idea that the old days were better days. No, today's a lot better. We live longer, healthier, more quality of life, definitely. But also, that was good, and if we could replicate that sometimes. I love disconnecting sometimes, putting your cell phone on airplane mode, really being present and exclusively with the people around me, in front of me, exclusively, exclusivamente, né? Bem legal, essas palavras longas do português e do inglês, elas são sempre muito parecidas. A gente tem aqueles prefixos, sufixos que a gente já consegue usar em várias palavras para dizer muitas outras, né? Então é exclusive, exclusivo, exclusively, exclusivamente, right? So I like to have my attention exclusively to the people that are around me. I like to do that sometimes, but to be honest, I should do more. Eu deveria, I should do more, né? Esse should, could, would é sempre meio tricky, né? Um pouco enganoso, um pouco chatinho de pegar. Always a little tricky, but important to do that sometimes. But internet, definitely amazing revolution, connected all the world. We share information, we develop a lot faster, just like the fact that you exchange information faster and you can cooperate with a larger number of people. Thinking about that alone, né? Só nisso, né? Thinking about that alone, essa é uma boa forma de falar isso no inglês, né? Considering this alone, that alone, it's great. I know the internet is also a place for like social media and negative comments and people being fake and everything. Not to judge. You can be fake, no worries. Do what you want. But thinking about that alone, like the progress and education and sharing good information and working together. Internet is amazing, great revolution, and I'm all in favor, and I think it's natural that we take some time to adjust, né? A gente leva tempo. We take some time to adjust and learn how to properly use things. There is one sentence to finish the lesson here. It was about AI, it was about artificial intelligence. The sentence is, with a new technology, we normally overestimate the impact in the short term and we underestimate the impact in the long term, né? Que a gente superestima o impacto no curto prazo e a gente subestima o impacto a longo prazo, which is dangerous. That's very dangerous. So we are constantly trying to adjust, learn, and then do it also with the internet, and now with AI here in 2025, artificial intelligence. We'll see what happens. A gente vê o que acontece. We'll see what happens. Okay, guys. Thank you very much for watching this. If you know friends, co-workers that are also developing their conversation in English, share this with them. I'm sure it's going to help them. Thank you very much for watching. If you have questions, comments, anything else, contact me. I'm available. But if not, then I'll see you guys on the next video, okay? Thank you. Bye-bye.